记者朋友，大家下午。
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. First, an announcement. At the invitation of the Myanmar side, President Xi Jinping's special envoy and vice chairperson of the National Committee of the CPPCC, Jiang Xinzhi, will attend the inauguration of President Min Aung in Myanmar's capital on April the 10th. Now the floor is open.
谢谢。中央卫视记者方浩明提问。
China Arab TV. Yesterday, local time, Israel said it had carried out some 100 strikes across Lebanon within 10 minutes. The airstrike has killed at least 250 people and injured 1,100. Iran called the attack a violation of the ceasefire deal and closed the Strait of Hormuz, was China's comment.
Lebanon's sovereignty and security should not be violated. Civilians and their property must be protected. We call on relevant parties to stay calm and exercise restraint to help de-escalate the situation in the region.
谢谢发言人，深圳卫视直线。
Shenzhen TV. A few days ago, Project Syndicate published an article by the former finance minister of Greece and economist Yanis Varoufakis. It argues that in order to hide their own failures, Western leaders weave the fiction that China has cheated its way to prosperity and that the reasons for China's economic success should be viewed objectively, was China's comment. I also noted the article. It is indeed well-reasoned and evidence-based. This objective and rational article is truly worth a read. For a country as large as China, there is no shortcut to achieve prosperity. It relies on the leadership of the Communist Party of China and the efforts of the Chinese people. Indeed, China's success does benefit from some strength. For example, the strength of China's perseverance to turn development blueprints into reality. For decades, China continues to scientifically formulate and implement five-year plans. And there is long-term consistency in China's development goals and policies. Another example is the strength of pulling efforts to get big things done. A third example is the strength of China's mega-sized market. China has the world's largest middle-income group and is the second largest consumer market. A fourth example is the strength of China's industrial system with a complete range of industrial sectors. And a fifth example is the strength of human resources. China is home to the largest cohort of R&D personnel. China's success is by no means accidental, still less achieved by cheating. It is a manifestation of the strength of China's system and the success of the Chinese path, the Chinese visions, and Chinese model.
China Arab TV. Recently in Morocco, student in Hangzhou saved a girl at the Jinsha Lake. It is a heartwarming story that how does China view the story and how will it help Chinese and foreign youth forging closer friendship and integration?
I have also seen reports on this Moroccan student. We commend his brave act of kindness, a virtue that knows no borders. This touching episode is also a vivid example of friendship between the youth in China and other countries.
Thank you. Question from AFP.
法新社昨天，白宫表示，中美已经进行了高层会谈，在过去的几天中就伊朗问题举行了会谈。我想问，中美到底谈了什么？第二个问题是回到黎巴嫩，中国是否认为停火协议涵盖黎巴嫩？
第一个问题，战事爆发。
On your first question, since the fighting began, China has worked actively to communicate and coordinate with relevant parties to help bring about an end to the conflict. On your second question, I shared our position on Lebanon. We hope relevant parties will take the temporary ceasefire as an opportunity to resolve disputes through political and diplomatic means and put an end to the conflict.
Thank you. Question by Sputnik, a follow-up.
卫星社，伊朗议会议长昨天表示，停火以及同美方进行就结束战争的谈判是不合理的，因为他称美方多次违反了停火协议，其中包括黎巴嫩的情况，中方对此有何评论？
能够抓住。
We hope relevant parties will seize the opportunity for peace, bridge differences through dialogue and consultation, and restore peace and stability at an early date to the Gulf and Middle East region.
越南之声记者提问。
Voice of Vietnam. According to the information released by the two sides, CPV General Secretary and State President Tolam will pay a state visit to China. Can you share the program of the visit and what's China's expectation? How does the spokesperson comment on the recent development of Vietnam-China relations? At the invitation of General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee and President Xi Jinping, General Secretary of the CPV Central Committee and State President Tolam will pay a state visit to China from April the 14th to the 17th. The two General Secretaries will hold talks. Premier Li Qiang, NPC Chair Zhao Leji, and CPPCC Chair Wang Huming will hold meetings with General Secretary Tolam. In April last year, General Secretary Xi Jinping paid a successful state visit to Vietnam, taking the building of a China-Vietnam community with a shared future that carries strategic significance to a new development stage. General Secretary Tolam chose China as the destination of his first overseas visit following his recent election. It fully shows the importance that he attaches to the ties between the two parties and two countries. Through this visit, China looks to carry forward the tradition of friendship, deepen China-Vietnam comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership, and build a China-Vietnam community with a shared future that carries strategic significance at a higher level. The two sides will jointly promote the global socialist cause and keep the region and the whole world peaceful, stable, and prosperous. Next one, please.
AFP.
法新社，关于王毅访问朝鲜的问题，能否提供中朝将会谈论什么样的议题？中方会否再次提出恢复旅游？
昨天我介绍了王毅外长。
Yesterday, I shared Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit to the DPRK's arrangement. If there's further information, we will release it in due course. You may stay tuned. I believe the two sides will discuss issues of mutual interest. Next one, please.
Two questions from Bloomberg.
彭博社，我有两个问题。特朗普总统在 Truth Social 上表示，将对向伊朗提供武器的国家销美的商品征收50%的关税。这一关税立即生效，外交部对此有何评论？第二个问题是关于《卫报》的一个篇报道。其中提到巴基斯坦的官员表示，中方说服了伊朗加入同美方的谈判，巴基斯坦从中斡旋，而中方提供担保，承诺伊朗官员不会在未来的谈判中被暗杀。这是报道中所提到的内容，中方对此有何评论？
首先回答你的第一个问题。
On your first question, China's position on tariffs is very clear. There is no winner in a tariff war. On your second question, China always advocates an early end to hostilities and resolve differences through diplomatic and political means to restore stability and peace in the Middle East. China will continue to make relentless efforts for an end of hostilities and ease of tensions in the region.
法新社， 美国的 FCC 提出一项提议，要禁止在中国的实验室对电子产品进行实验和测试，中方对此有何评论？
反对美方泛化国家安全概念的做法，这种做法
China firmly opposes the U.S. overstretching the concept of national security. Such moves seriously hinder normal economic exchanges between Chinese and U.S. businesses and does not serve any party's interest, including U.S. companies and consumers. China will firmly safeguard our own legitimate and lawful rights and interests.
还有其他问题吗？
Anything else?
那好，今天的记者。
That concludes today's press conference. Thank you for coming.